What's up, guys? I'm back with another video. Today's issue that we have is the car. I had went to work and everything was fine, and I decided to do two-step to see some fires. So I was trying to get some videos for you guys, and it didn't go so well. So as you can see, there's no coolant in the car. Coolant started leaking from in between here, so somewhere down here in between. So the car has to go into service position mode to see what the issue is and where it's coming from. So stay tuned. Brad, this is what I get, man, for doing a video. I'm gonna tag you in the next post. I'm gonna tag you in the next post the reason how this happened. So okay, I have my engine in top dead center. As you can see, I have my TDC bar on, one right here, and the other side right here is connected, and also it's in top dead center, like I said, because it's lined up. There's a line right here that I'm going to show you guys to make sure that it's in top dead center. My next step is to put the crankshaft locking tool inside the motor so it prevents the whole engine from turning. So this tool is going to go right there in that area. That's going to be a 5mm hex. Okay, so how to get to this 5mm hex? You're going to have to drop the sway bar and loosen these two bolts from the turbocharger pipes and move out of the way, so that way you have access to get to the crankshaft and put the bolt in over here. Okay, so I went ahead and removed my turbocharger piping, and I have put in the crankshaft locking tool, as you can see. So now my next thing that I'm going to do is take out these bolts, and these are a 6mm hex. So make sure when you take this off, you use a hammer and tap it in, or a tool and tap it in. Alright, so I'm gonna take these out, take these nuts out. These are a 6mm hex, as you can see. So I'm gonna start taking them out one by one. Just make sure when you put them in, just make sure you give it a little tap, like make sure it's in. And just loosen. Now that all the bolts are out, you could wiggle left and right until she slides off. Crankshaft pulley. Now my next step is to take off the viscous fan. So there's 3 bolts. There's one right here, one right here, and one on the inside right here that I will take a picture of and show you guys closely. Viscous fan. To get this cover off, you're going to take these 2 nuts out, and these are 2 10mm nuts. Now I'm going to begin to take off the tensioner pulley. That is a size 10 hex. Tensioner pulley, crankshaft casing cover. Okay, so guys, this is some hood ratness, so please don't follow what I'm about to do. But I don't have the pin for this, so I picked up a nail, as you can see. So don't do this at home. Don't follow this step. If you're doing timing, please get the tool. Don't follow what I'm doing. I'm taking a risk at this because I've done this many times. So what I'm gonna do is put this in here to decompress the timing belt, and this is a size 8 hex. So I'm gonna decompress it now. Now I'm gonna take out this nut from the camshaft, size 16. I loosen this, so now I'm gonna put my tool on. as I tighten it, the cam should make like a violent noise, so don't be alarmed, letting you know ahead of time. There we go. And then after that, loosen. And then you can take off timing belt like this. Just like that. Take it off. And voila, timing belt is off. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take out these 3 bolts, 1, 2, and 3, just to take off, or not take off, but to take out the thermostat, which is right here. And what holds the thermostat is these 2 nuts, so it's one right here and one right here. So I'm going to take this cover off and this thermostat cover off just to see what's going on behind it. So as you can see here, our thermostat is leaking, but it is leaking because there is no O-ring. As you can tell, there's no O-ring around this seal, so that's an issue why it's leaking. So this is something that I found very weird. There's no O-ring there, so now I'm going to show you guys how to take off the water pump. That's next. Now we're going to get ready to remove our water pump. I've taken out the oil dipstick, so I have like a piece of plastic bag to cover the hole to make sure that nothing drops inside of that hole, because the dipstick is currently out. So, and we're also going to remove the timing belt tensioner pulley, so we can have access to this bolt right here, so it's a better clearance. So we're going to remove this. Okay, so to get access to this water pump, you're going to have to remove this nut right here, this nut, and this nut right here. That is a size 6mm hex. After that, here it is. That bolt I was talking about. So, yeah, I take out this bolt, like I said, this bolt and the bolt in the back, and then as soon as you lift it up, this bolt is right here that's hidden. So now I'm going to begin to remove all these nuts. Removed already. And 10. So all these are 10. As you guys can see, there's coolant already leaking from the housing. So, and that's due to coolant still being left in the motor. So that is prone to happen. So everything is removed. Water pump is removed, as you can see, and the thermostat is also removed. So those will get replaced for a new thermostat, new water pump, and also with the new timing belt. So those will be on very shortly after this. Okay, so here's our old water pump and thermostat. I'm not really sure what was going on, why the leak happened. I'm pretty sure it was because of the thermostat, but I couldn't really tell if it was also the water pump. So as you can see, these fins are like a lot more thicker. Yeah, pretty much. And then here's our old timing belt also. Has a lot of meat on it left. It's not worn out, still thick. And then we have our new water pump and thermostat, but this new one, the wheel for the water pump is thin, which is kind of weird. This one is thicker, and this one is thinner. I'm not sure why, but whoever made it, they know what they were doing. Our gasket. This is our thermostat, our new thermostat, made by this brand right here. Made by this brand right here. And then our old one, that was made by this brand right here. So, and then here's our old gasket. Well, not gasket, but seal. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that. So, these are garbage. Then, we have our new timing belt. Right here. Our Gates Racing Performing Muscle Timing Belt. Got the card. So, as you can see. So what we're going to begin to do now is install our water pump. So before we install our water pump, what you're going to do is you want to make sure you have your gasket on before you put on the water pump. So I'm going to put on the water pump right now. Then I'm going to put in my bolts and nuts on. Yep. And then after, I'm going to snug them up. Now, After this, when you put these in, you are going to torque these down to 7.4 foot-pounds or 10 Newton meters. So as you can see, I'm gonna begin to install the thermostat. So what I did was I took the thermostat and then I took the O-ring, and then as you see me rotating in that circle, I accidentally had put back in the new O-ring inside that circle that I'm rotating. But the way how the thermostat is installed is you put the thermostat in first, then you put the O-ring in after, and then after you put that O-ring in, then you're gonna put on your thermostat housing, and then you're gonna tighten them down to 10 Newton meters, and then after that you should not have a leak anymore. Now my next step is to install my power steering pump. So you're gonna tighten these bolts. 1, 2, 3. You're gonna tighten these to 22 Newton meters or 16.2 foot-pounds. So I'm going to start with the back, 16.2 foot-pounds or 22 Newton meters. Now we're going to put on a thermostat housing. Then you're going to tighten these down to 10 Newton meters or 7.4 foot-pounds. Now I'm going to put on the timing belt tensioner pulley. Put it right here. Then it's going to be 22 Newton meters or 16.2 foot-pounds. I'm going to start from here. Throw this right here. Throw this over here. Then right here. Down at the bottom. Come back up here. Put my wheel on. Like this. And this is how it comes on, like this. Now I'm gonna put this back on. Put this back on. So now I'm gonna loosen this to pull out my pin. Here's my pin, quote unquote. And then you're gonna go clockwise so you can tighten the tension. Now I'm gonna pre-tension the roller by doing it counterclockwise to 15 Newton meters or 11.1 foot-pounds. So while I hold this to 11.1 foot-pounds and 15 Newton meters, I'm going to tighten my cam to 30 Newton meters or 22.1 foot-pounds. So the point of that was to get the cam seated. So I'm going to remove my tool from here now. Now I'm going to counter hold the camshaft sprocket and tighten this to 55 Newton meters or 40.6 pound-feet. As you can see, timing belt is complete. So now I'm going to narrate the steps to install the other things. Install the cover. .4 foot-pounds or 10 Newton meters. So I'm going to put on our viscous fan, and I'm going to put this bolt in and tighten it to 10 Newton meters or 7.4 foot-pounds, and then I'm going to put in these 3 bolts, 1, 2, and 3, and that is 22 Newton meters or 16.2 foot-pounds. Now I'm going to put on the engine cover. Okay, so as you can see, I went ahead and put on my timing belt cover. These bolts you can tighten to 10 Newton meters or 7.4 foot-pounds. Put on the serpentine belt tensioner, which is 55 Newton meters or 40.6 foot-pounds. So just be careful. There's a groove right here, and it lines up right in here. Lines up right in there. So just be careful. Now I'm going to put on the crankshaft pulley. I'm gonna put on the crankshaft pulley. Now also be careful with this because these have teeth that are lined, as you can see. This has a teeth right here and a teeth right here. As you can see, teeth on that side and teeth on that side. So now that my crankshaft pulley is on, I'm gonna put the nuts in there. So it's 25 Newton meters or 18.4 foot-pounds. But before I put it in, I'm gonna put blue lock thread tight on it, so that way it's secured, because this crank will vibrate as the engine is moving. So I'm gonna put on blue lock thread. Okay, so my bolts are in, but they're not tight. So I'm gonna now secure them. I'm gonna put on my power steering pulley. I'll put it on. And then I'm gonna put some Loctite on these also. And then I'm gonna seat them in, but I'm not gonna torque them yet. So now I'm gonna put on the serpentine belt. Now I'm gonna tighten my 3 bolts. Being that the belt is on and the tension is there, that the pulley is not gonna move, I'm gonna tighten it to 22 Newton meters or 16.2 foot-pounds. Now what I'm gonna do is put back on my piping for my left turbocharger, driver side turbocharger. But before I do that, I'm going to take out the locking pin from the crankshaft. Okay, so my turbocharger piping is on. As you can see, it is on. And now, last thing is to put up the sway bar. And that's it. Sway bar is up. So everything is done. I'm gonna put on that other intercooler on the other side, button up the car, and give it a start. So thanks for watching. Also, like, comment, and subscribe.